Good evening, and welcome along to Rob and Elliott tonight here on NVTV. Now, before I tell you who's coming up onto the show this evening, I must say a big thank you to everybody who's voted for us here at NVTV in this year's GNI Awards. We're up in the category for Best Supportive Media, and there's still time to get those votes in, so the voting details are appearing on your screens right now. So a big thank you if you are voting for us here at NVTV. Right, coming up on the show this evening, we'll be chatting to one of the stars of the new Dungeons and Dragons movie. Rylee McNeely-Large will be joining us in the studio. Also, travel expert from The Sun, Lisa Minot, is going to be talking to us about some of this year's top travel destinations. We'll find out why myself and Kim Kelly have been out and about at Montalto Estate in Ballynahinch earlier on today. And we'll have music from singer-songwriter Taylor Lally. And we'll also find out about a brand new show called The Goodies, The Baddies and The Uglies. So it's all coming up over the next hour or so don't go anywhere. But starting us off on the show this week, we're talking baby names. To find out more, I'm pleased to say that broadcaster and journalist Kim Kelly joins us in the studio. How are you?
I am great, and it's that time of year where we find out what everyone's been calling their wains. It's my favourite time of the year. I love it because I'm so nosy.
Exactly. So we're talking about the top baby names.
Yes.
Here in Northern Ireland.
Here
so
in
do
Northern
the big
Ireland.
reveal then.
Dun,
What's
dun,
made
dun.
the top?
Quite boring, I'm afraid.
Really?
Sorry to people call these names. Okay, the top one for boys, James.
Yeah.
Nice name.
Yeah.
And then for girls, Grace.
Really? Okay.
Yes, and in those lists as well, we have like the Evas and the Avas and the Aoifes, obviously.
Yes.
And then boys, we have Killian, things like that. They're all actually very, very nice names. They're all very plain, very nice, you know, along the sort of Anna, Rose, those kind of lines, which is lovely. But let's talk about names that aren't so lovely.
The long kind of Irish names, are they still around?
No,
are they still popular?
no, not the. You're talking about the Irish names of our childhood.
Yes,
the Irish
like
names. Yes.
Aoife.
Whenever Aoife's there.
Aoife's there.
Aoife
Okay,
is there.
yes.
Whenever you and I were growing up, because we're nearly 50, we are the Irish. The Irish names were Grania, Siobhan, Sinead, Attracta. Maybe not the prettiest names. Now, I am sorry because people
Dimpna.
Dimpna. I knew Dimpna.
Did you?
I did actually, from Bushmills, randomly. There you go. Now, I know there's people watching this called Attracta, and they're very much off a time, and they went along with the Joannes and the Jennies and the Heathers and Claires.
Yeah.
And the Stephens.
Yes.
And the Neils. But those names really aren't about anymore. I was thinking, imagine these days having twins and calling them Nigel and Sandra.
You know,
they're stunned silence.
Yes, I'm just thinking, do I actually know a Nigel and Sandra? I do know a Nigel, actually.
I know Nigel.
We know a Nigel.
I do, and a Sandra, but nobody. When was the last time you saw a little baby Neil? A Malcolm.
A Malcolm. I know a Malcolm as well, but I
not
haven't heard of a new Malcolm. There's no new Malcolms
the
out there.
English people, a lot of these names are English. In England, they seem to have a trend for the Dorises, and you're always laughing at me. You know, those sort of like, I would call those granny chic names. Ethel, Effie, those sort of names, you know, Archie and Alfie. That is slow to take off in Northern Ireland a little bit.
Yeah.
Although I think one that I've seen coming back, Raymond.
Really?
Well, maybe not Raymond, but Ray is coming back.
Ray is coming back.
But when are we ever going to see Alan?
Yes.
Judith, my own middle name.
Yeah.
Now, anybody I know called Judith these days calls themselves Jude. But like, let's fly the flag for the Judiths and the Sharons and the Tracys.
Let's bring them back.
I see no reason why not.
Do you remember in the 80s when Marillion released that song Kayleigh? There was lots of little Kayleighs running around then.
Yes, not
and then
so
Kylie
much
came along,
yes.
and there was Kylie's everywhere as well.
I hate to tell you, Kylie's are in their late 30s now.
Wow.
Isn't it incredible how names just change? And I think in Northern Ireland, names are very important to us.
Yeah.
We would have a tradition here, of course, calling people the same names.
Yeah.
I think I have a cousin, and I can't remember I'll not obviously out him here, but his first name is Boyd. Now, Boyd's a last name, but that tends to be a Scottish and sort of traditionally Protestant Northern Ireland thing where you'll get a young man called Kingsley. Which you just wouldn't get. You're not going to get that in West Belfast, are
exactly,
you? You know,
yeah.
But it is an interesting sort of thing. But then what they would have in West Belfast, which they have in Wales as well, they have the Og. So you'll get a name like your son would be Robin Og.
Yes.
Or in Wales, it'd be Robin App. Isn't that it? I quite like that. And I think it's especially funny whenever they use an English name and then they Og it. So it'll be Stephen Og. You know, it works for like Callog, obviously, because that's an Irish, they're both Irish. But I see some people doing it with the English name, with the Og.
There we go. We touched briefly on the celebrity thing there as well.
Yes.
I believe there's a kid somewhere in Northern Ireland called Jay-Z.
There is, yes, I was talking about this. This is actually an old story from about 10 or 15 years ago, and I believe it was in the Sunday Life, was always running stories about this man from Ballynahinch. Now, at the time, he would have been in his 20s, and he had a child called Jay-Z, or perhaps it was Jay-Z, who knows?
Who knows, exactly,
and
yes.
I believe he had a sister called something along the Beyonce lines, but I'm not sure. But Jay-Z, because I'm not going to call him Jay-Z, because he's from Ballynahinch, Jay-Z must be 15, 16, so Jay-Z, if you're listening or watching this,
get in touch with us.
Get in touch, Jay-Z. I think it's marvellous. But I also have heard a new trend for baby names, and it's to do with the famous Molly May off of Love Island.
Oh, right,
now,
okay.
She named her daughter Bambi, which of course is a Disney name. So since she named Bambi, there has been a 200% increase in Disney names. So we're going for the Ariels, Auroras, those sort of names, which I think are quite cute little names.
Right, if you want to share your baby name stories with us, get in touch with us on social media, and we'll keep this going, because we need to move on to something else now, to a big event that you have coming up very soon in the Culloden Hotel, I believe.
Yes, I am running a Mighty Woman brunch in the Culloden Hotel on the 23rd, which is a Sunday, 23rd of April, which is a Sunday, and Robin's going to co-host. He hasn't actually agreed, but I thought if I just, got him on, will you,
that's how you do it, yeah.
Will you please co-host me?
Yes, I'll do it.
Glad to get that bit of business out of the way. Thank you. So this is a chance for all you ladies out there who are mighty. Basically, everyone says, what is Mighty Woman? And just really, it is a collection of women who are mighty. I meet women every day and go, she's a mighty woman, isn't she? I wish there's something that I could do for her, and now I can. I can bring her along and I can give her an award. She can tell her story, because there's so many women doing just amazing things, or things that they think are really normal. But we honestly listen to their stories and go, wow, that is incredible. So if you know a mighty woman, get in touch with me. Come to Mighty Woman NI on Insta or Facebook and just send me her name, her phone number. We don't bother with the complicated process of filling in boring forms. I'll do all that.
Yeah.
I'll ring. I like to speak to these people.
Yeah.
And we are going to bring together a collection of mighty women.
It sounds fabulous.
What is the collective term for a mighty woman? A collection.
A collection of
mighty women. And we're all going to get together. We're going to have brunch and a little something in a glass, maybe.
Sounds great.
And we're going to talk, we're going to cry, we're going to do makeovers.
And if people want to buy tickets, can they do that?
Yes, you don't have to come along and throw yourself up on stage. You don't have to. If you're a bit more shy, you can just come and watch.
Yeah.
You can go onto Eventbrite. We're going to do fashion. We're going to do all kinds of stuff, and it's just going to be wonderful. It's going to be great old crack.
It sounds good, and of course you're raising money as well for Action Cancer.
Our charity this year is Action Cancer NI. They are in their 50th year, would you believe? 50 years of helping people, supporting people. So they're going to come along, and you and I were out last week and we met some of the people from Action Cancer, and the stories they have to tell. Again, these people don't realise how mighty they are. They're just like, oh, it's just me. And we're going to hear their stories, and they're going to tell their stories of they hate me saying that's battling cancer. I know people who have cancer hate talking about battling cancer, but that's the kind of terms that we use of just living with cancer, I guess.
Well, should we take a look at the video from last week?
Oh yes, let's.
Here's what happened at the Action Cancer headquarters. Stevie, roll that VT.
Good morning, my name is Kim Kelly and I am the Director of Mighty Woman in Northern Ireland, and today we are here in Action Cancer House in Belfast, and we are here to announce that for this season Action Cancer is the charity partner for Mighty Woman. We are absolutely thrilled to have Action Cancer on board, and at every event that we hold this year, Action Cancer will be in attendance, spreading the word of the wonderful work that they do. For 50 years, Action Cancer has been an integral part of Northern Ireland, and we are so thrilled to have them along with us for these wonderful brunches that we'll be holding. We're holding events this year across the country, as well as our gala ball. Our first event is on the 23rd of April in the Culloden Hotel, where a representative from Action Cancer will attend to tell us all about the message of early prevention. This year, as well as our gala ball, which will be held in Titanic in December, we're holding 4 Mighty Woman Brunch Awards. These brunches will give us the chance to go out and meet you mighty women in your own areas. We're holding brunches in Culloden Hotel, in the Slieve Donard Hotel, in the Roe Park Hotel and in the Rabbit Hotel. So we are absolutely thrilled to be going out onto the road and meeting all you amazing, mighty women. If you check out our social media, the full details will be there.
Hi everyone, I'm Lucy McCusker. I'm Corporate Fundraising Manager at Action Cancer, and I'm absolutely delighted to announce that Action Cancer are this year's charity partner of the Mighty Women Awards. We are so thrilled to have 4 of our lovely ambassadors attending each of the brunches coming up starting in April time. These ladies have availed of our services, and a number of them have actually had their breast cancer detected by Action Cancer. So it's very important that we spread awareness about the importance of breast awareness, and early detection does save lives. We're really looking forward to seeing all of you ladies there at the brunches.
My name's Adele Kennedy and I'm from the North Coast in Northern Ireland. I used Action Cancer House a number of years ago through friends going to lunch and deciding we needed to do something sensible and get ourselves checked out. I was 48 at the time. 4 years ago, I would have been left until I was 50 by the NHS to be checked. I had no symptoms at all. It would have been a very different scenario for me. I was lucky, my cancer was caught early and dealt with quickly. We have a service in Northern Ireland through Action Cancer House that is second to none and should be utilised by anybody between the ages of 40 and 50 years of age. We are looking forward to being partners with the Mighty Women Brunch. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in Limavady, and I will enjoy speaking to you about my time with Action Cancer.
Hello, my name's Sinead Hoban. I'm from Uri. I became involved with Action Cancer a few years ago. I've been coming to Action Cancer for mammograms since the age of 40, and I'm absolutely delighted to be involved in the Mighty Women event coming up soon. So I look forward to seeing you all there.
Mighty Women is a community of women across Northern Ireland who are doing amazing things, and we want to celebrate all your remarkable achievements. We hold awards at Christmas time, but we decided to extend this across the country, and we really hope to see you all there, and we can't wait to hear about the amazing work that you're all doing.
So I do hope to see you at the Culloden Hotel on the 23rd of April. Time now to hear all about a brand new comedy musical that's on its way to theatre at the Mill. It's called The Goodies, The Baddies and The Uglies. Gary Greenfield and one of the cast members join us now in the studio. Guys, welcome. Gary, it's been a while since you were last here.
5 years approximately.
Wow, you were here last time with the show called My Sweetheart and Me, weren't you?
I was, that's right.
And we heard great things. That did really well for you, didn't it?
Yeah, then sort of lockdown came and that sort of knocked it in the head, really.
Yeah. So tell us about the new show then, The Goodies, The Baddies and The Uglies,
Well,
a comedy musical.
Yes, I started to write this, well, actually when I was sort of producing My Sweetheart and Me, I had some ideas for this project and I started to write some of the songs. And I know it's developed over the last 4 years to the point where we're ready to stage it now.
Brilliant. So what's the kind of story behind it then?
Okay, well it all starts off in the summer of 1968 when an old-timer stumbles into a bar somewhere in Northern Ireland, claiming to have been deliberately poisoned and to be literally only moments away from certain death. But just before he pops his clogs, he reveals to some of the down-and-out punters in the bar that he is privy to information regarding the whereabouts of a large stash of hidden gold buried in an old abandoned pagan graveyard. And so with this piece of life-changing information, a madcap farce ensues where all the characters in the bar fight against and strive against one another, compete against one another to be the first to reach the ultimate prize.
Wow. Well, let's find out about some of the characters involved then. Who are you playing in the show then?
The baddie of The Goodies, The Baddies and The Uglies.
Yeah.
And it seems to be more than one character, to be honest, because there's so many costume changes. I'm constantly in the background, so unfortunately people who see this will probably occasionally spot me lurking in the background. But yeah, so my entire thing is tricking people, capturing people, and eventually finding out where this gold's hidden. So that's my whole gig, really.
Brilliant. So any big songs in it for you as well?
I've a major solo, but I think I'm in pretty much all the songs, actually.
Continuously singing throughout this whole...
My background's folk singing, so Gary found me completely by accident, and I ended up starting to do this and getting put into more and more songs as we've gone on, to be honest.
She's a real find, Robin.
Yeah?
She's going to go on to good things, I can tell you.
So where can we hear you singing? Are you doing gigs around the place, or...?
There's a couple. Well, actually, there's a terrible dubstep album that I'm on from when I was a student, but I'm not going to tell anyone where that one is because I'm not that proud of it. But because I did mostly folk singing, so it's... I used to be an archaeologist, so we travel around a lot for work, so I'd just go to any folk night that was going, and so there's a lot of recordings out there of me, but I'll be hard pressed to find them all in one place.
Brilliant. What about the rest of the cast? Because a pretty big cast, about 10 you have, don't you?
10 or 11 people on board, of which you know one of them, Justin.
Justin's
McCartney,
back, Justin McCartney,
plays a couple of characters in it. Very strong cast, and they come from musical backgrounds, most of them. So I'm glad to have them all in place for this project.
And there is a great musical theatre scene in Northern Ireland. There always has been, hasn't there?
Yeah, it seems. Now I got into it later in life, so I used to play gigs throughout Ireland in a band. But I stumbled upon this with my teacher, who happened to be a script writer, and he asked could I write some music with him, and that's how that all developed. At the age of maybe 25, 26, and then it's led on to me writing these 3 musicals now. So it has. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I love the whole creative process of doing it.
And they're all self-funded. You produce and do everything yourself, don't you?
Not a millionaire yet, Robert, I can tell you that.
Brilliant. So when and where can we see the goodies, the baddies, and everything?
Well, the goodies and the baddies mostly lends itself to a Halloween audience.
Yeah.
So it does. Unfortunately, with staging difficulties, I had to put it on over Easter. But that's not to say that it won't be on again in October. You'll find it at the Theatre at the Mill on the 7th of 8th of April. That's a Friday and a Saturday. There's 3 performances, the 7:45, the 2:30 and the 7:45 on the Saturday. And you can go to my website, www.suntreeproductions.com, or through the Theatre at the Mill website to purchase tickets.
Brilliant.
I hope to see you all there.
Excellent. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming in, and the very best of luck with the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, time for some live music in the NVTV studios. And earlier on this week, the fabulous singer-songwriter Taylor Lally joined us for a great interview and live session. So here she is, performing live, Taylor Lally.
When in doubt, keep your chin up. Don't let the wind get you down. The day is a gift for you, born with the magnitude of inspiration. Those 9 to 5 day shifts, you know they ain't worth it. You could do better with your time. Those fears of relentlessly waking up 60, and you've wasted it away. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Now, before it's late, love, so we can chill into the night and make stuff up. Sit back, take your weight off. It's wonderful and everything's alright. Just still don't try. N-E-T-U-I-L, Homo sapiens cast spells. Dangerous for TV, to know your worth you wouldn't want what's on the screen. They need you to lack self, they need you down, wanting more and more and more and more and more and more. My love, you look dizzy. Said it's 'cause you're busy. Your hairline starts to fade. You're not following these things through. Said 500 times you'll do when you get your next pay. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Now, before it's late, love, so we can chill into the night and make stuff up. Sit back, take your weight off. It's wonderful and everything's alright.
So there we go, performing live in the NVTV studios. That's Taylor Lally. That's a track called Wake Up, and I'm pleased to say she's here with us now. How are you?
I am well. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for joining us. So tell us about the song Wake Up. What's the kind of story behind that then?
I wrote this song Wake Up about myself and some friends who say they're going to do things in their life and just never really get round to doing it, or like making up excuses, whatever kind of thing. So Wake Up's like, here, come on, let's go, wake up, let's do the thing we're going to say we're going to do. And
so did you know then that music was always for you then? Did you make that happen?
You know what, you see, when I was 14 years old, and I did just decide, it was a thought, like, right, I'm going to do this, it's going to be my career. Like, it was just a thought, and I rolled with that, yeah.
And it must have been a long, hard struggle to get where you are today, because things are just really taking off this year for you, aren't they?
Oh, madly so, yeah. There's been a lot of things happen beforehand. Like I still do play in the bars, but I played in the bars for about 7 or 8 years, which was from when I was 16.
Wow.
So that's all my practice in performing, and of course writing. You gotta practice that and stuff. And
do you remember the first song you ever wrote?
Yes, I do. I do not want. Yeah, that's a weird one.
What was it about? Do you
want to actually? Like, do you want to know?
Yeah, go on, tell me.
It was about like my parents. Like, I'm 14, but whatever, they were like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. You know the way parents say, like, they're just a bit more, of course their parents are like controlling your life. Yeah. Of course. So it was just like a anarchy song of just like, you know, you're making me upset, but I'm stronger for it. You know, kind of, I forget the lines, but gosh, that was funny, yeah.
And were they supportive with you for going into the music industry, or did they want you to do something completely different?
No, Robin, I'm actually really blessed because I have parents who are really supportive, and they're pushing me all the way. They have been, yeah.
And were they musical as well?
My dad plays a few chords.
Right.
Maybe when he's had a few drinks as well, he gets the guitar out. And then I'm like, brilliant, Dad's got the guitar. And I get mine, so it's fun, yeah. But excellent. Other than that, not really. Tell
me about the Cinemagic movie, because this is pretty special. You've been working away with Brian Kennedy, haven't you?
Yeah, Brian's lovely. Oh my gosh, that was a really awesome opportunity when that came around. So I just, I got sent a script, and I couldn't believe it. So I thought that I was just going to be in the bar in the movie playing a song, one of my own. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I would love to do that. And then I got a script through, and I actually had lines with Brian Kennedy. I was like, no way, this is crazy. So I run down to my mum and dad, like adrenaline, can't even nearly breathe. I'm like, I get to work with Brian Kennedy. What is going on here? Like, you better believe, I couldn't believe it, you know.
It's called So What If It Rains?
Yes, that's the title, yeah. So What If It Rains?
So when can we get to see it then? How do we see it?
I'm pretty sure it's coming out this spring.
Right, okay.
So it's really soon.
And it's all connected to the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So the anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement, 25 years, and it's just in reference to that. And it's really funny, and it's a wholesome story, and I think it's going to make people laugh and maybe cry.
Brilliant. And Cinemagic, they're a great organisation to work with as well. Joan and all the guys down there, aren't they? Yeah.
Oh wow, yes, 100%. They're wonderfully supportive for young people. They really want young people on board. So the crew, I noticed, were a lot of young people, my age, maybe even younger as well, but a lot of professionals, sort of teaching them how to do bits, the stuff, the camera, the sound, everything. And so Cinemagic are very supportive of the young people and that sort of next generation coming up and doing the arts in Belfast and Northern Ireland.
Tell me about the album, because that's in the pipeline. That's coming soon as well, isn't it?
Yes, 2024. It's a while away yet, though. We've got many months, thankfully. But yes, 2024, I'm going to get an album out, and it's in the works. But this year, it's all singles. So I have a song coming out every month at the end of the week, the last week of the month, every month, which is a lot.
Yeah, it is.
But it's all pre-done. It's all like set up. It's done. It's there. So you can expect like songs coming out every month, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, we'll hear another live one from you in just a second, but you've got the Cathedral Quarter Arts Festival coming up as well. You're going to be the artist in residence, aren't you?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I can't believe it, that as well. Standing on the shoulders of giants, I think is that a good line for that. It's just a really massive boost of help. Just I get to support some wonderful artists, international artists, and then have my own little headline gig, which is wonderful. So the Cathedral Arts Quarter Festival, wow, thank you. You know, my gosh, thank you.
And you've got a great team behind you as well. You've got the legendary Nigel Martin and Michelle McTiernan and people like that working with you, haven't you?
That's right, yes, Nigel Martin and Michelle are really a massive help, and yes, little family pack. Here we go. Yeah.
Let's hear another song. What are you going to do this time?
This one's called Round and Round. I released this last year, and it's a bit about Northern Ireland, teenage heartache, that sort of thing. So that's what that's about.
Brilliant. Well, the best of luck with the movie and the Cathedral Quarter Arts Festival and the album when it comes out. And we'll hear Round Round right now. All right. Thank you for joining us. So here she is one more time with Round Round. Here is Taylor Lally.
This city has a beat, it's vibrating. Underneath the skin, we're still healing. How would you like a drink with me? We can talk of life beyond the 7 seas. I got sick from bad dreams. I don't know why, something about the hatred or false peace. All your friends are in the Abbey bar. I'm left here alone with a night-blinding scar. I'll never know why I keep going round and round in circles, chasing spirit nights. I'm waiting on street lights to take me back. I'll never know why I keep going round and round, no. All for these fights, no, I'll never know why. Taking it back to days I was fine. I was running up and down these streets, young and alive. Time made a different town with a different sign, cold. Oh, but it's worse in here than mine, I fear. I'll never know why I keep going round and round in circles, chasing spirit nights. I'm waiting on street lights to take me back. I'll never know why I keep going round and round, oh. Oh, for these fights, I've never seen it happening, 'cause it's all over so quickly. And you're just another one to do the same. 'Cause I know you're gonna leave, just leave the bottle at my feet. I'll never know why I keep going round and round in circles, chasing spirit nights. I'm waiting on street lights to take me back. I'll never know why I keep going round and round, no. Oh, for these fights, I'll never know why I keep going round and round in circles, chasing spirit nights. I'm still waiting on street lights to take me back. Oh, I'll never know why I keep going round and round. No, for these fights, no, I'll never know why.
Now we're talking holidays. Have you booked your big summer holiday this year? Well, according to new research, the average holidaymaker could save around £310 this year if they're organised with every element of their big holiday this year. To tell us more, I'm pleased to say travel expert Lisa Minot joins us on the line. Lisa, how are you today?
All good, thank you.
So tell us about the latest research then. We've discovered that the average person could save around £310 a year. Tell us how.
Well, this is new research from Holiday Extras that discovered that only half of us book our airport parking when we actually book our holiday, and 7% wait until they get to the actual gate at the airport and pay on the gate at the airport. Now, that 7% doesn't sound too much, but actually that's about 1.2 million people across the UK. Now, that would mean that on average, they're wasting about £155. They're paying that much more than if they booked in advance. Most people take a couple of holidays a year, perhaps a sunshine break and then a city break. That's £310 that you've wasted that could be spent on anything from a flight to New York to a London theatre break.
So tell us about some of the most popular holiday destinations. Where are we booking this year then?
Well, obviously, I mean, the data that we've had come through from Holiday Extras is very similar to what I would expect. It says that a quarter of their bookings are for people heading off on destinations in Spain, and that's not just mainland Spain. Of course, you're talking about the Balearics and the Canaries, and the other popular favourites, traditional ones like Greece and Italy, also in there, as well as Portugal. But actually, I think what you are seeing this year is people looking slightly further afield as the cost of living crisis bites, and they're looking to get a bit more for their holiday pound. So I'm seeing lots of interest in places like Bulgaria, very, very cheap holidays you can get there, but then also some new different ones. So TUI has recently launched a programme to North Macedonia, fantastic sort of lakes and mountains product that can rival the very traditional destinations in Italy, but much cheaper prices. On top of that, you've got Montenegro, the neighbour to Croatia, again, a less developed product and actually offering better value, especially as obviously now we have Croatia in the Euro. And then actually another one that has really surprised me is the the Albanian Riviera. We're talking about, £1.10 a pint, £3 cocktails, much cheaper prices for people. And if they're really trying to make their pounds go further, that's what they're doing. But I think in general, wherever you're booking, the mantra at the moment, unlike when we were in the pandemic, is to book as far in advance as possible. And that includes all your holiday extras, like your travel insurance and, of course, your airport parking, anything like that. Booking as far in advance as possible to get the best savings.
One thing I'm noticing at the minute as well is cheap American flights at the moment. You can get some really good bargains for holidays in America, can't you?
Well, that's right. I think what we had was a bit of a supply and demand issue just after the relaunch of flights or the reopening of the borders. And there weren't that many flights there. I mean, now, obviously, we've got more flights coming in as airlines recover after the pandemic. They are starting to ramp up their schedules. And as there's more competition and more flights out there, the prices are beginning to come down a little bit, yes.
So what's your advice then for people who might be booking through one of those last-minute bargain sites? I've done a few recently where you see a great deal, you phone the number, you end up being on the phone for about half an hour, and by the time you've finished, the holiday has got more expensive. It's maybe doubled in some cases as well. So what's your advice on things like that?
Yeah, I mean, that does happen a lot. Obviously, many of the sort of low-cost airlines and low-cost operators will come up with a headline price to tempt you in, and then you discover that you need luggage or you need to, book this extra or that extra, your transfers. So it's really a good idea to compare when you're looking at that kind of thing. If you've got all of those different elements, compare it against a traditional package tour operating sort of package, and you might find that it's still quite a sort of good idea to book that package holiday because you will get extra protection with it. But on top of that, I think really just making sure that you look at all of the parts of your holiday and not just the actual price of a flight or the price of a hotel. You need to compare everything to make sure you get the right decision.
Now, I'm also booking a lot through the high street travel agents at the minute as well, and they can actually help find you some great deals, can't they?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that we saw throughout the pandemic. There was a real return to having somebody there to hold your hand through that booking process so that you've got reassurance that you are booking the best holiday for the best price. And again, that does come with, if you're booking a package holiday, extra protection through the Atoll scheme as well. So we have definitely seen a lot of people wanting to have that reassurance and making sure they are getting the right holiday to the right destination.
Now, what about the big family holidays this year then? We're seeing some horrendous prices for Spain and Tenerife and places like that.
Well, I mean, I do admit that obviously anyone who's trying to travel in peak season, it unfortunately does pay more if it's in the term time holidays. But it's just about really being a bit savvy and looking beyond those traditional destinations. I think particularly for family camping holidays across Europe are a really good value way of actually getting away, booking yourself onto a campsite and then maybe getting some flights to there is a really good way of actually sort of cutting costs. Yes, you might not have all of the same mega facilities as a hotel. You might have to do your own cooking, but if it means you're sat there soaking up that sunshine on the decking of your caravan in the south of France or Spain, really, I mean, you're still getting that escape, you're still getting that beautiful weather, and you're getting it for a price you can afford.
And of course, there are some great holiday destinations on our own doorstep right here in the UK, aren't there?
Well, that's right. Yes, there's plenty of places that we can explore on our doorstep. But I will say that, you know, we do head off, all of us from all parts of the UK, because the weather here is just not as great. It's not as guaranteed. I definitely think it's the number one thing that I would suggest people do as a sort of secondary holiday. But people still want their sunshine. They still want to head off abroad.
Exactly. So, Lisa, what's your holiday plans for this year then?
I'm in a lucky position to, through my job, actually get to do a lot of travelling. I'm heading off to the Atlas Mountains in Morocco in March and to Guyana in April, which is a new British Airways route. And that's in South America, but actually it's Central America, sorry. Very Caribbean feel, lots of rainforests and waterfalls, and I can't wait to explore there.
Sounds great. If people want some more information on anything that we've talked about, where do they go to for that?
Well, it'd be a great idea if you could search online for holiday extras.
Lisa, great talking to you. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
Right, moving on to something a little bit different now, and I'm pleased to say that Kim Kelly is back with us in the studio. We're talking holidays there. Yes. So what's your big holiday plans for this year then?
I would like to go somewhere warm, away from this rain. I've had enough. Honestly, it's ridiculous.
Well, we spent the morning in the rain earlier on today, didn't we?
It was wonderful, and it just makes you really glad to be from Northern Ireland, doesn't it? As you stand there in the first few days of spring, soaking wet, and also you have forgotten to read the memo that said to dress in flat
for
shoes
the weather,
and
yes,
a raincoat.
which you didn't. You came wearing those
I was
boots,
wearing a pair of platform boots and a skin-tight dress. However, we had a good time.
We had a good time, and it just highlights once again there are so many great places to visit on our own doorstep, aren't there?
I have never been. Today we went to the Montalto Estate, which is about a mile outside of Ballynahinch. I had never been there before. What a place, what a beautiful place. And they were opening their new garden, and it was a lost garden for almost 100 years. This garden was lost in time. And during lockdown, they found little bits of paving stone and little bits of ruins. So like most of us during lockdown, we were all a bit bored, you know. So they decided to put this garden back to the way it was. Now, of course, this is not your average lockdown project, but it's amazing. They have put new pathways in, beautiful plants, gardens. It really was lovely. And of course, the lead gardener was a woman.
Ah, yes, of course. A mighty woman.
A mighty woman indeed. So I was very impressed at that. So it was really nice going there and learning a little bit more about what's right on our doorstep.
And of course, the garden officially opens today. So it does. So
goodness, yes. Honestly, it's a lovely walk and it's not too steep. You know, I managed it in heels, girls, you know, so you can, so it isn't hard, you know, if you do have any problems with mobility. Lovely, just a lovely day out.
Okay, let's see what happened. Here's what happened when Kim was roaming around the gardens of Montalto Estate. Stevie, roll that VT.
Lockdown gave all of us a chance to get back to nature, and lots of us discovered that we actually really like working in our gardens. Now here at Montalto Estate near Ballynahinch, they have just completed a lockdown project with a big difference. At the very start of lockdown, they found a garden dating from 1912, and it was in absolute ruins and completely overgrown. So they spent the 2 years of lockdown turning it into something absolutely gorgeous, which you will see today.
here with David Wilson, who is the Managing Director of Montalto Estate. Now, David, how did you come to live in such an amazing place?
My parents sold their family business back in 1994. My father, he didn't want to work in the business any longer, and while they never set out with the intention of buying this place or anything like it, they saw it one day, they fell in love with it, and they just decided to buy it. And I suppose that has become their work for the last 25 odd years, renovating the house, extending the house, developing the entire estate into what it is today.
So not only do you live here, but you work here. This must be a very special place to you.
Oh, absolutely. I will say it's not a bad place to come to work every day, even in the rain. I moved into the big house when I was about 16. I actually didn't live there very long. My parents lived there then right into the middle, 2006, and then they moved out, and it was at that stage we turned it into a business. We opened the estate in 2010, primarily Montalto House first of all, then the wedding venue, the carriage rooms, and then finally in 2018 we opened to the public. So where you are today, the cafe, the retail, the visitor centre, and all the trails and gardens. And then today is really just the next chapter of that. We're opening our Lost Garden today.
Yes, so the Lost Garden, what an exciting thing. Tell us a little bit about that.
It was very unexpected. It was very unexpected. We always knew there's Victorian greenhouses, the ruins of Victorian greenhouses, so we always knew that they were there. But the area around it was so massively overgrown, and we never really ventured down there until 2017 and 2018, when we were doing the work to prepare the estate to open to the public. And we discovered, we discovered a couple of stone flags or stone path. And while we didn't have the resources or even the time at that point to sort of investigate further, because we were opening the rest of the estate, it was always in our mind that we would have to come back to this. Then in 2020, with COVID, obviously we were closed to the public, but we needed, the estate needed maintained, so we maintained our gardening team on site at all times, and we had more time. And we sat down, or the guys went down, and they effectively uncovered pathways, very badly damaged rose arches, stone benches, the remains of bridges across the stream. So it was hugely exciting that we discovered all of this that we didn't know was there, and then that became the next project really at that point. Could we sort of rejuvenate it and renovate it and make it part of the public experience?
And of course, this really was a lockdown project with a difference, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Lockdown, as for everybody, lockdown was extremely hard. The majority of our business was completely closed, but we did need to maintain our gardens as they were for the public. But this little project that we found, this little excitement, gave the guys something more exciting to come to work for, rather than just nobody being here. This was exciting. This was all new for them as well as for us as well, to see what actually we were discovering on a daily basis. It was brilliant.
Well, that certainly was a lockdown project to remember, and it really is lovely to see a local person living in a beautiful historic home like this.
Yeah, well, we have lived here, or we have owned the estate for 25, 26 years now. Actually, nearly 30 years now. Time flies, and it has developed from us living in the main house, us turning it into a business, and now it is quite a portion of my family live here or live on the outskirts of the estate and work here. So it is becoming more of a, it takes much more of our time now than it ever has in the past.
I am here with Leslie Heron, who is the head gardener here at Montalto Estate. Leslie, it's lovely to meet you, and it's wonderful to see a female has taken the lead in this project. How did you become a head gardener?
Oh, well, that's a question and a half. Certainly, I started off in a garden centre when I was a teenager and just worked the summers and things, and then sort of got the bug for gardening. And then we had our own nursery, landscape gardening business for pushing 20 years. And then, so we were landscaping, we were designing, we were growing, you know, we sort of have a real scope of all the areas within gardening. And then I went on to the films for a while, and I did sort of a horticultural specialist within them, so sort of learned some other sort of things in there, and now I'm here. So it's been quite a long road.
It has. That sounds like a wonderful journey. So let's talk about the secret garden here. When did you become involved in this project?
I became involved in this project in April 2021 and have been doing it ever since. And it's been a good long journey, but you know, we've got there.
How long did it take to make this garden into this beautiful space that we see now? Obviously, whenever you started, it was very overgrown. How long did that process take?
This process took in total 2 years really to take it from after it had been cleared to where you see it today. There's a lot of work as involved in the construction level of this as well. So you know, there was a lot of things that maybe you wouldn't see. It's not all about the gardening. It's about what's under your feet and shoring everything up, making everything safe, making bridges, you know, as well as just the, you know, the plain gardening as well.
And if we talk a little bit about the plants that are here, obviously you wanted to get this back to what it looked like in 1912. How easy was that using modern day plants?
Well, we had to have it as well that it would take the canopy that we now have, because in 1912 there wouldn't have been as big a tree canopy as there is now. But we did as best we could. We had a lovely historian called Fionnuala help us, and she's fantastic, and she's a plant historian and garden historian. So we worked along with her and were able to establish the plants that we would find back then.
So how does it feel whenever you look around at this beautiful place today? Do you feel like an enormous sense of accomplishment?
Oh, we are so proud of what this garden now looks like, because you know, when you do see it from the start and at the very end there's a flurry and it comes together, you know, it's a real sense of achievement. It really is.
And how long does it take to look after a garden of this vast scale? How long does it take every single day?
So this garden is slightly under 5 acres, and as you can see, it is heavily planted. You know, it's not all grass. There's very, very little grass in it. So this garden will have a full-time gardener all the time.
Okay, let's do our weekly What's On guide and see what's happening throughout Belfast and beyond over the next week or so. We're starting off at the Grand Opera House, and Titanic the musical is back in the city, and it runs from the 4th until the 8th of April. And based on real people aboard the most legendary ship in the world, Titanic the musical is a stunning and stirring production focusing on the hopes, dreams and aspirations of the passengers, who each boarded with stories and personal ambitions of their own, all innocently unaware of the fate awaiting them. The third class immigrants dream of a better life in America. The second class imagine they too can join the lifestyles of the rich and famous, whilst the millionaire barons of the first class anticipate legacies lasting forever. Don't miss Titanic the musical at Belfast Grand Opera House all next week. Now we've got a very special birthday concert, a birthday celebration of music legend Gary Moore at the Empire Music Hall on the 7th of April. This gig is all to raise money for a statue for Gary, which of course we should have in Belfast sometime really soon. And I'm pleased to say that Thin Lizzy legend Eric Bell is on the bill for that fabulous gig. Also the spectacular Gary Moore tribute band from Dublin. You've got Tom Davis and the Bluebirds from the UK, and Jerry Quigley's Mystic Blues. So it's going to be a night of highlights to remember, and of course raise money for that Gary Moore statue, the 7th of April at the Empire Music Hall. Moving on to the Ulster Hall here in Belfast, and Believe, the Cher Songbook, is a stunning concert honouring the music of one of pop's greatest stars, and that comes to the Ulster Hall on the 8th of April. So this is an essential night out for all Cher fans. It's an enthralling production that takes audiences on a memorable journey that turns back time to celebrate the goddess of pop. So that's on the 8th of April. Then another music legend is celebrated on the 9th of April, this time David Bowie, and the Bowie Experience hits the stage at the Ulster Hall. It's a spectacular concert celebrating the sound and vision of David Bowie, and is a must for all David Bowie fans. Now, earlier this week, Picture This announced their long-awaited 4th studio album, Parked Car Conversations. That's going to be released on the 29th of September, and the guys are heading back out onto the road as well. They're coming to Belfast to the SSE Arena on the 19th of October, and tickets for that went on sale this morning from ticketmaster.ie. Now, if you fancy catching a movie in cinemas this weekend, what about the new Hollywood Dungeons and Dragons movie, Honor Amongst Thieves? Here's a clip from the movie.
We're thieves, but we help the wrong person steal the wrong thing and unleash the greatest evil the world has ever known.
The Red Wizards created an army of the undead.
Sounds lovely.
Quite the opposite.
I know, I was being ironic.
I find irony is a blade that cuts he who wields it most especially.
You're not a lot of fun, are you? How are we gonna pull this off?
We're gonna need a team. Follow me to the orifice.
The orifice?
I'll go last.
Let's go! I don't mind that. She missed.
No, that's not good.
Aren't you sick of failing? We could die.
There's worse things than dying. I lost everything that ever mattered to me, and if we quit now, that's for nothing.
I don't want to see you die, which is why I'm going to leave the room.
This gas now.
The bridge is protected by an ancient trap. We must not trigger the mechanism.
I may have triggered the mechanism. So, sorry.
So there we go, a clip from the brand new Dungeons and Dragons movie, which of course is in cinemas everywhere this weekend. And I'm pleased to say one of the stars of the movie joins us now in the studio, along with his mum. It's Rylee Neely Large. Rylee, welcome. Shanice, welcome to the studio as well. Not every day you get a movie star sitting in the studio after we show a clip like that. Tell us all about the movie. What was it like to do?
It was absolutely astonishing. It was great. Like, the people that I met, as being a young Hugh Grant in it. The funny thing is, the one guy I didn't meet was Hugh Grant.
Really?
Yeah, he was the one person I didn't meet. I met Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez.
Wow.
Whenever I met her, she was actually on a horse.
Really?
They were going to a scene, and she was just sitting on the horse, and she was talking to me, so it was brilliant, that, like.
So those guys are major Hollywood stars, and there you are in the middle of all that. So how did you fit in? Were they all right, were they?
Yeah, they were really nice to me, so they were.
Yeah?
Yeah, they were really kind. Michelle Rodriguez, she knew my name and all.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, Rylee, you're the young Forge, aren't you? You're Hugh Grant." No. Very kind they were.
So you're playing a young Hugh Grant then. So what's the character like then? Who is he?
I haven't even seen the movie. I know a wee bit about it from just people talking about it.
Yeah.
I think so. He is like kind of the villain in it, and they're going after like some sort of like relic.
Yeah.
And I think that they're like all after it, and he's trying to get it as well.
Indeed. Shanice, exciting stuff.
It is indeed. So proud of him. We're
Yeah.
all just so proud of him. It was a real experience to be there.
So how did he land a role in a Hollywood movie then?
All through his fantastic agency.
Yeah. And you'd never had any film experience or anything before that, had
I
you?
wasn't even in an agency. Like I didn't even, like, if I thought of what I wanted to be growing up, or even jobs, like being an actor didn't come to mind at all. It was, I want to be a footballer. That's it. Like, but then I basically just, it was just seen by my mum on Facebook, and it was like, do you want to do it? And I was like, sweet, like, I'll give it a go.
And you're good at all sports, aren't you? Jiu-jitsu and
Yeah.
kickboxing and everything?
Yeah, I do a wee bit of everything, like.
And then you mentioned the rapping there as well that got you into the first
Yeah.
movie. Do you still do that?
I haven't really done any rapping for anything, and since that one, that was kind of the first one I done. It was literally just listening to rap music, I
Yeah.
suppose. Just then, I kind of done that. That was the first one I got, and then that was then. I didn't even know what an agency was at that point. when I was 8 years old, when I was on that set, there were loads of people saying that I was really good in what agency I was in, and I was just telling everyone I'm not in an agency. I don't even know what that is. And they were all saying to me, you should get in the agency. So whenever I got home, my mum looked it up and found one, Rising Talent Agency. So that's where I am at the minute.
It's all happening because as well as the Dungeons and Dragons movie, you've done fishing poles as well. Tell us about that. What's that movie
Fishing
about?
poles, that I've liked everything, but I can't lie, that was probably one of my favourite things that I've done.
Right.
Mostly because
worked with another child.
Yeah, there's another child on it. That was really fun. It wasn't just. It was just great. Like, and then
It's about kids trying to send a rocket to the moon or something, isn't it?
Yeah. Fireworks, I think it is.
Right.
But that one was great. There was, I think, 3 days of filming on that one. That was a short film. I think half an hour.
Yeah.
It turned out to be or something. But yeah, that one was great crack. Like, it was so much fun.
So have you got the acting bug now? Do you want to do more?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
And was there any other actors or anybody in your family down through the years? Or?
Well, funny you should say that actually, because we didn't know that we had anyone else in the family that was an actor. My husband, Ivan, Rylee's dad, has a lot of family in Canada.
Right.
And they keep in touch with us through Facebook.
Yeah.
And one of his cousins had sent him a message to say, we're so proud of Rylee. You know, thanks for keeping us up to date. And so funny that I have an actor on both sides of the family.
Right.
My husband was like, who are you talking about? And turns out that the child actor in Bad Santa
right.
is Rylee's third or fourth cousin.
Wow.
So we didn't know that until
Yeah.
like last week, but that's the only one we know of so far.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So the whole family, I would imagine, are very proud of you, especially your granny, who's your biggest fan, isn't she?
Great granny Anna.
Great granny.
Great granny Anna. That's it.
Yeah, she'll be watching this, definitely.
Brilliant. But we'll give her a mention. Great Granny Annie. Hello. There we go. So Dungeons and Dragons is out in cinemas everywhere this weekend. You must be going to see it, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, Rylee's filming something
Hopefully,
else
it's
on
Friday. We're hoping it can be wrapped up before the cinemas are not showing it that day anymore. But if it seems that I can't make it, there's always
every other day.
Sunday, because I'm filming Saturday as well. Like, but we'll find some time to watch it. Like,
You're a busy boy, and you're still only what age?
11.
11. There you go.
Yes.
You've got a big future and a big career ahead of you. And as I said, the family must be so proud.
We are.
Yeah.
I hope you're right, Robin, because this is what he wants to do.
Yeah.
His son, he's making a good stab at it, isn't he?
He definitely is. And here in Northern Ireland, things are going really well for the film industry and stuff at the minute. There is so much talent out there. And I know from your agency, the Rising Talent Agency, they're supporting so many great performers at the moment as well, aren't they?
They've been really supportive, haven't they?
Yeah,
they're amazing.
Brilliant. Well, good to have you in. The best of luck with your career in the future. Will you come back and see us when you're a massive Hollywood star?
Yeah,
good.
Definitely.
We'll have you back. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
So there we go. Go and catch Dungeons and Dragons in cinemas this weekend. That's all we have time for on the show this week. Thank you to all my guests. Thank you for watching as well, and we'll see you back here same time next week. Bye-bye.